If you had just one moment to witness the divine power of God, what would you choose? Today, I'll show you 5 unforgettable miracles Jesus performed, and the truth behind why Christians still believe in them with all their heart. 1. Water into wine, the first miracle. In the small town of Cana in Galilee, a joyous wedding was taking place. Guests laughed, danced, and celebrated, but the wine ran out, a disaster in Jewish wedding tradition. The hosts were on the verge of public embarrassment. Mary, the mother of Jesus, noticed. She turned to her son, not just as her child, but as the Messiah. She simply said, "They have no more wine." Jesus replied, "Woman, why do you involve me? My hour has not yet come." But Mary, knowing what her son was capable of, said to the servants, "Do whatever he tells you." Jesus then instructed the servants to fill 6 large stone jars with water, each holding up to 30 gallons. Once filled, he said, "Now draw some out and take it to the master of the banquet." To everyone's astonishment, the water had turned into wine. Fine, rich, exquisite wine. The master of ceremonies said, "Everyone brings out the choice wine first, and then the cheaper wine after the guests have had too much to drink. But you have saved the best till now." This was the very first miracle Jesus performed. It wasn't in a temple, a battlefield, or a courtroom. It was at a celebration of love. Christians believe this miracle signifies that Jesus values human joy, relationships, and celebrations. It also symbolizes transformation, the ordinary becoming extraordinary when touched by his hand. 2. Walking on water, master of the storm. Matthew. After feeding over 5,000 people, Jesus sent his disciples ahead in a boat while he went up a mountainside alone to pray. As night fell, the wind picked up and the waves grew violent. The disciples, seasoned fishermen, battled the storm, but fear gripped their hearts. Then, sometime between 3 and 6 a.m., they saw a figure walking toward them on the water. "It's a ghost!" they cried in terror, but the figure spoke. "Take courage! It is I! Don't be afraid!" It was Jesus, walking on the very waves that threatened their lives. Peter, bold as ever, called out, "Lord, if it's you, tell me to come to you on the water." "Come," Jesus replied. Peter stepped out of the boat and for a moment walked on water too. But when he looked at the wind and waves, doubt crept in. He began to sink. "Lord, save me!" he shouted. Immediately Jesus reached out his hand and caught him. "You of little faith," he said, "why did you doubt?" As they climbed back into the boat, the wind died down. The disciples fell at his feet and worshipped him, saying, "Truly, you are the Son of God." 3. Healing the man born blind, seeing the light. As Jesus walked along, he encountered a man who had been blind from birth. His disciples asked, "Rabbi, who sinned, this man or his parents, that he was born blind?" Jesus answered, "Neither this man nor his parents sinned, but this happened so that the works of God might be displayed in him." He then did something unusual. He spat on the ground, made mud with the saliva, and applied it to the man's eyes. Then he told him, "Go, wash in the pool of Siloam." The man obeyed, and when he washed his face, he could see for the very first time in his life. The people who had known him as a blind beggar were shocked. "Isn't this the same man who used to sit and beg?" they asked. He replied, "I am the man." "How then were your eyes opened?" "The man they called Jesus made some mud, put it on my eyes, and told me to wash. And now I see." 4. Raising Lazarus, victory over death. In Bethany, Jesus received word that his dear friend Lazarus was gravely ill. But instead of rushing to his side, Jesus waited 2 more days. By the time he arrived, Lazarus had been dead 4 days. His sisters, Mary and Martha, were devastated. "Lord, if you had been here, my brother would not have died," Martha said. Jesus replied, "Your brother will rise again." "I know he will rise in the resurrection at the last day," she answered. Jesus looked into her eyes and declared, I am the resurrection and the life. The one who believes in me will live, even though they die." Then he asked to be taken to the tomb. He wept. And then he commanded, "Roll the stone away." Despite concerns about the smell, they obeyed. Jesus lifted his eyes to heaven, prayed, and then shouted with authority, "Lazarus, come out." 5. Feeding the 5,000. After a long day of teaching, Jesus looked at the crowd, over 5,000 men plus women and children, tired, hungry, and far from any village. The disciples wanted to send them away to buy food, but Jesus said, "You give them something to eat." "We have only 5 loaves of bread and 2 fish," they said. Jesus replied, "Bring them here to me." These 5 miracles aren't just dramatic events from ancient times. They're divine encounters that still echo in the hearts.